So who am I with here today?
My name is Kathy Johnson. I am originally from Wichita, Kansas. I spent time with my great aunt. We called her Auntie Mama. Till I was like 5 years old. I come from I would say broken family because my father was married 4 times. I didn't ever feel like I could do anything right because I really wasn't told that I wasn't praised. I wasn't told that I was loved. I was not, told that I'm doing things right. I basically was like the product of having to deal with animosity that grown-ups had. When I got in my teenage years, we were living overseas. I was in like I said, a strict household. I knew absolutely nothing about drugs. I knew about alcohol because families have parties and stuff like that. But I knew nothing about marijuana and stuff like that. And when I got over there, I got hooked up with the wrong crowd. Actually, I purposely made it a point then to get high just so that I could fit in because the peer pressure was so much. And I feel like that's because I did not have the support that I had at home, that all I had was my friends at school. And I really felt a lot of pressure to start doing the things that they were doing. And that basically led me into a life of addiction. Drinking in the girls' bathroom, it started out like that, smoking marijuana, and then on to even harder drugs and stuff. Since we were overseas, it was easy for Americans to just walk into a pharmacy and order drugs. And keep in mind, at that time, I was just like 14, 15 years old. And I actually OD'd when I was 15 by being able to walk into a pharmacy and get what I want and not really know what I was doing, hanging out with a crowd that was older than me that had been using and not really knowing that this is something that could actually kill me. I told myself that I had 5.5 years so I can actually quit anytime. Fast forward 20 years, I was still using. I went from going to treatment one time in 1988 and getting sober and staying sober for 5.5 years to actually, like in a 20-year span, having gone back to treatment 10 or 11 times. It got to a point where I would get, I've been sober for like a year. I'd had a year here. Then I might have 6 months. I might have 9 months. But if something happened in my life that upset me, I would always go back to using because I really had not taken the time to look into something deeper, I came to the Salvation Homeless Shelter. I can't remember what year it was. My case manager, as a matter of fact, was Cynthia Estrada. And she basically I just can't express it. The first time I talked to her and the way that she talked to me, she instilled hope in me because she is like the first person that I talked to like in a social service setting that made me feel heard. I was in the transitional housing program then, and that I'm going back to school, and everybody saw promise in me and everything. And one morning I woke up and it seemed like when I got out of bed, it seemed like I just didn't get out of bed. It seemed like I just jumped out of bed, my feet hit the floor. And when my feet hit the floor, I just said, I'm done. Like this, I just said, I'm done out loud. That was 9 years ago in July. That was the last time I ever had a drink or a drug. Over the years, I would come back, I would see Jamie, I would see Cynthia, I would see people that knew me, and they were like, Kathy, how are you doing? What are you doing? And stuff. I went back to school and this, that, and the other. We'd always have this great conversations because I had that connection with them, that it was a bond that never went away with Jamie and Cynthia. And it never went away. And then when I got into the master's program, it's like, Kathy, wow, you got your bachelor's, you're working on your master's. She said, we got an opening here at the Salvation Army. I was like, oh, wow, that's great. I mean, something you might want to look into. And I was like, okay, great. And then I remember just how much I loved the Salvation Army, how I was doing a story on the Salvation Army, how I, just was meant to be like a social worker, and I then started thinking about Cynthia and how she spoke to me and how Jamie and them would speak to me. They made me feel seen. They were genuine, you know what I'm saying? Authentic and loving. They showed me kindness and care, and everything. And I was like, this is going to be all right. Like, come full circle. And now I get to work with the homeless population. I get to work in helping people get housing and help to be their case manager. So we were able to house 108 people in the last year. We had housed 84 people in Rapid Rehousing and 24 people in transitional housing for a total of 108 in the last year. We provide housing, case management, household goods, foods, transportation, and individual case plans. I was able to move into my new home on August 19th. And I've only been there, I haven't even been in there 2 weeks yet. And I went through a program called Habitat for Humanity, where I put in 250 sweat equity hours over the last 18 months to 2 years to achieve home ownership.